Good morning, everybody. It is your daily crypto news for Monday, January 22nd, 2023. And my name is Matt, and you can email me at matt@dailycryptonews.net. Let's get into the crypto news. As you probably have noticed, Bitcoin price go down. We said, ETF number go up. Well, since the ETF hitting that 49,000, we thought it was going to be up only from there. It seems to be falling. It fell over 14% since then, despite the historic approval of the exchange-traded fund. Well, we know the culprit, and I think that this week it's also going to continue to go down. The culprit? Well, it is Grayscale. And why? Because investors in Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust is recently converting to a Bitcoin ETF, and they've been exiting their positions in droves. And what does droves mean? Well, just in the past couple of days, about $500 million was cashed out. Yes, that is downward pressure on Bitcoin. And they have still $2.2 billion left in the fund. So what's going to happen is people are going to exit it. They're going to go into other ETFs with lower fees. These ETFs are directly correlated with the Bitcoin price, or they're just going to get the hell out and go buy some damn Bitcoin somewhere else. The fact is there's $2.2 billion left in the fund to continue to put downward pressure on Bitcoin. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what about these ETFs? Aren't they bringing in money into Bitcoin? Aren't there inflows? Well, there are. BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust, or IBIT, is the current winner with around $1.2 billion of inflows. However, that is not enough to keep number from going down. Also, other factors in this is this market volatility and this downward pressure because of all the sell-offs of their Bitcoin Trust is stopping people out that have long positions on Bitcoin. When Bitcoin goes below a certain price, some people are getting wrecked. And so far, around $120 million worth of these long positions got wrecked. What are we going to see at the close of this week? Or actually, why don't we just say at the close of today in the open of the market? We're going to see in crypto prices in just a minute. Gary Teo, the executive director and head of regulatory affairs at the OSL, a Hong Kong licensed crypto exchange, said that Hong Kong could potentially see an issuance of a spot Bitcoin ETF by the middle of this year, and that 5 to 10 companies are currently studying such an ETF. Hong Kong has currently listed several futures-based cryptos ETFs, but not spot Bitcoin ETFs. And if you do remember the news from, I think, 2 weeks ago, Korea said that they are not going to offer a spot Bitcoin ETF no matter what the West does. Binance, if you guys remember, pled guilty to U.S. criminal charges and saw former CEO Changpeng Zhao, or as we affectionately call him, CZ, step down as part of a $4.3 billion settlement. And he's awaiting sentencing because he did plead guilty. Well, Binance right now currently is experiencing a trading revival. Since the exchange's November 21st admission to the Department of Justice in the United States of money laundering and evading sanctions, and CZ leaving, Binance has seen a net inflow of around $4.6 billion. That's far exceeding OKX, Bybit, Kraken, and even so far in January, it's attracted around $3.5 billion. It makes me wonder about popular CEOs, maybe not the best for companies. I'm going to tie these two together, and maybe I'm a little off base here, but Elon Musk, it looks like he raised around $500 million to fund his XAI, and XAI is a startup, an AI startup, obviously, and he's looking at around a $20 billion valuation for that. And XAI is going to work on, obviously, AI, its Optimus robot, and so on and so forth. And all this is causing a little bit of a tiff between Elon and Tesla and the shareholders and the board. See, because Elon doesn't feel comfortable with Tesla taking the helm of this AI development if he doesn't own 25% of the company. I haven't heard the reason. Let me know if you know, matt@dailycryptonews.net. But I'm assuming it has something to do with the majority of decision-making and authority, because he was very vocal about OpenAI and the way Sam Altman leaving the company and what they were doing. And I think he wants a lot of control and ownership over this. Probably wants the upside too when it comes to the money. But I mean, he's the richest man in the world, but you never know what his other motivations are. Anyway, the fact is the difference between what he owns now, which is roughly around 13% ownership of Tesla, and the 25% of ownership that he wants is something like $85 billion. Look, here's the thing. Elon is a master operator. Every company he's touched, he's turned into a gold mine and made really good products that work. You know, they basically changed the game when it comes to SpaceX, Starlink, EVs. Maybe we'll leave out the boring company because I think that was just the stupidest company ever, but you never know what's going to happen in the future. And now he wants to do it with AI and robotics. Now, looking at this, I'm just wondering, should Tesla even care? Is Elon the best person to be the CEO of Tesla at this point? Or could they actually make better cars and make more profit with some other CEO? It's kind of like comparing Elon, Steve Jobs, and Tim Cook. Look, I think everybody thinks about what would Steve Jobs think of Apple today? What about the products? What about the phones? What about the computers? Would Steve Jobs be happy with the products that Apple is putting out? Most people think that he wouldn't be happy, that he'll be rolling over in his grave, as they would say. And so would he be the best operator for the Apple in the future? From a consumer point of view, for the best products, the best innovation, and really pushing the boundaries? Hell yeah. But would he be for the business as a whole and for the shareholders? And that's why Tim Cook turned Apple into the most valuable company in the world. $3 trillion market cap. Could Steve Jobs have done that? I don't know. And then we're talking about what is a good company? What is the goal of your company? I mean, look, Tesla has pushed every boundary when it comes to cars that I can think of, to be honest with you. But can it be better with a different CEO at this point? Fine, we have the product, we have the ideas. Now can somebody make Tesla better? And so I'm looking at CZ and the current CEO, Richard Tong, right now. CZ's out of the way. CZ was always out there. CZ was a little divisive, and maybe not divisive, but he was just like this, this really front-facing CEO that was always on Twitter, that was always in the news, that was always doing something. Maybe for the security and maybe for the confidence of crypto investors and traders, CZ getting out of the way is a good thing. And finally, maybe it is just a good idea for this AI division and Tesla to be separate. Maybe the AI company would be a better standalone company where they can license these AI tools to Tesla or SpaceX or Starlink and have baked in revenue from these other existing companies. Me personally, if you separate AI from Tesla, then that kind of puts this self-driving or full self-driving into question. And I can't wait for somebody to have a class action lawsuit against Tesla about that, because there's nothing full, there's nothing self, there's nothing driving about that. And you're trying to pay $12,000 for it. And to be honest with you, in the early days, they just kept on saying like full self-driving. You paid $3,000, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 for it. And even though they said that you're going to turn your Model 3 or Model Y into a robo-taxi, it has yet to come and is nowhere close to coming. There's my little Tesla rant from a former owner of a Tesla. And finally, something that has nothing to do with crypto, but I thought was very interesting that crossed my desk this morning. How many animals do we eat globally every year? The first one, the lowest one, we have about 5,000 turtles every year. They say tortoises and turtles, so I don't know if they're tortoises or turtles, but the little hard shell guys. Other noticeable ones, 800,000 kangaroos are eaten. Brew meat apparently is only 2% fat, so it's very lean. 3 million camels, absolutely insane. Okay, 5 million horses are eaten. Apparently 25 million dogs, that really sucks, right? I mean, if you're a dog lover. 60 million pigeons. I mean, how many times I lived in China for around 15 years, or Asia for about 15 years. How many times was I getting chicken and it was actually pigeon? There's a couple times I was looking at those bones, I was like, there is no way this is chicken. There is no way this is chicken. 70 million guinea pigs. I guess apparently the meat tastes like a cross between duck and rabbit. 100 million sharks. Now that's surprising. I didn't know there was 100 million sharks to go around. 300 million cattle. 500 million lobster. 750 million salmon. 1.5 billion pigs. 2 billion octopus, which is also quite insane. Octopus is absolutely delicious, but I swore off eating octopus probably around 5 years ago when I saw that one documentary called, what was it? My Octopus Teacher, I think. And I was like, yeah, they're too smart. I'm not eating them anymore. And the last one that is on my list is the number one, and it's chicken. 70 billion chickens yearly are consumed. Now let's consume some crypto prices.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
And the time is 9:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Fear of greed is at 57. We are neutral. Bitcoin, by the way, we're red across the board. Just to let you know, this is not going to be a good morning. Bitcoin's in at $40,612, down 2.8% in 24. Ethereum's at $2,365, down 4.6%. Tether's number 3. Binance is at 309, down 2.9%. And Solana's at 87.31, down 6.7%. If anybody bought it at $92 when I was like, hey, this looks like a good buy, then I'm sorry, you are down almost 7% from there. But still, this looks like a good buy. Obviously, this is not financial advice. This is Matt, a guy on a podcast sitting in his extra room converted into an office in the middle of a town in Cleveland, Ohio, Northeast Ohio. So grain of salt, please. Take my advice with a grain of salt. Running off the top 10, we have XRP down 5%, USDC Cardano down 5%, Dogecoin down 5%, and Avalanche at $30.74, down almost 8%. The total market cap's at $1.59 trillion, down 3.5%. Bitcoin dominance is at 50% even, and ETH is at 17.9. That's our show today. I'll be back tomorrow. Till then, happy hodling, everyone.